Aloha and welcome to Lucy's Paradise Podcast. Please, before you do anything, like and subscribe to my channel. Today, I'm going to give you guys a top 10 list on how to start your own channel if you want to start a podcast. I'm not going to gatekeep any information here. I'm going to give you guys kind of the best 10 steps to do this if you want to create your own podcast. And the funny thing is, everybody thinks that starting a podcast is super easy and they think it's just sitting down and talking until they start creating their own podcast and they realize that it's a lot harder than it seems. But here are some steps if you guys want to make a podcast or some sort of like YouTube channel. This will help you a lot, and maybe it can save you a little bit of headache compared to when I was making my channel and I had to kind of learn all of this stuff through trial and error. So the number one thing you want to do is figure out why you're starting it. Is it like a hobby? Is it a personal brand, some sort of business or creative outlet? And kind of what the purpose is going to be with starting it. The second thing is to find your niche. Find the specific thing that it's going to be categorized under. This is really important because this kind of sets you apart. The cool thing about podcasting or videos in general is that there's just so much out there in the world that you can do. So my recommendation is when you're exploring these things to choose stuff that is really stuff that you care about. So for example, if you're into fitness or you're really into building cars or something, it might be a good idea to surround your channel or your podcast around some of those hobbies. It's going to actually make it easier for you to create content, and it's going to be fun. You don't want to create a podcast or create some sort of channel around something that you're not really that passionate about, because it's going to be very obvious when you're creating your content and it's not going to be as fun. So those are some things to think about. One of the bigger things I would say, definitely do this, is to research other podcasts that are within your niche. So you can get an idea of kind of what is already out there. This is the main reason for this, is to basically help you create how you're going to create your channel. So the one thing that I did in researching podcasts in Hawaii was just looking up other Hawaii podcasts. There really wasn't that many podcasts that even exist here. And there also wasn't a lot that just had like one female host. So in a lot of ways, once I created my podcast, I was kind of like the only person that's kind of doing it that is similar to me. So there's not a ton of like veteran people here in Hawaii even doing podcasts, and not a lot of them are female. So anyway, those are just some things that I noticed. It's not always, information that's necessarily going to help you, but it's also good to just kind of know what's out there and kind of just to see what everybody else is doing. One of the bigger things, kind of a step 4, I guess, is to record several episodes before you actually launch your podcast. This is what we call stockpiling content. It's like one word people call it. The reason for this, reason you want to stockpile content, and now this becomes difficult if your niche or your podcast is going to be something where you are giving like updated news kind of like the day of, then it's going to be harder to do that. If you're doing something that's like a car channel or something like that, this is easier to do. And if you have a way that you can do this, or create your niche or whatever your topic is around something where you can stockpile content and post it later, that can sometimes be ideal, because this is going to help you stay consistent with posting. And then it also helps you not having to rush and put content out there. A lot of the times I have, life happens when you're scheduling content or you're creating videos or whatever. Like, for example, I was sick this past weekend, so I missed filming an episode with somebody, and now we have to push it to next week. But that's just life, right? It doesn't mean that I don't, that I'm not going to post this upcoming Friday. But because things like that happen, it's nice when you have stockpile content that you can just keep on a schedule. So that's one thing that's super huge. It creates a content buffer for you. And if there's periods of time where you're like traveling or you get sick, you still have content that you can put out. So that's really important. Another thing is to pick a realistic release schedule, something that works for you, whether it be weekly or bi-weekly or monthly. Consistency builds a good foundation for your fan base or the people that follow you. So every Friday works, or every Saturday or every Thursday. And sometimes being able to create more content, and then once you gain a lot of followers, you can post a couple times a week or a bunch of times a month, depending, right? And again, as long as you're still feeling inspired to create content, this is a good thing to do, especially if you're getting a lot of traction. Then it's good to go ahead and create more content. So do that as you wish. Pick a good time that's going to work for you, that you can stick with, that's going to help you stay consistent. I have pretty much launched a video every Friday for the past 3 years. And it's definitely a lot of work, but it's not impossible. It sounds impossible. It feels impossible sometimes when you're thinking about it, and it seems like a lot of work. But once you start doing it and you create the first one and the second one and the third one, it becomes easier and easier, and you become better and better. And then it doesn't seem as hard, I guess, if that makes sense. The sixth thing, do not obsess over your equipment. In a lot of ways, I kind of went from basically paying somebody to help with my content and spending a lot more money than I do now. But in the in-between time, I was able to learn about a lot of things and realize that like I can do it kind of a lot easier with kind of very basic equipment, I guess you could say. I mean, I do use a content phone that's like a Google phone that's like shoots in 4K, and it definitely will shoot in like 1080p. That's definitely one thing I would recommend. Don't worry so much about the filming. I would say the audio is the biggest thing. So focus more on being able to have great audio. There are a lot of different podcasting tools you can get that are not that expensive. For example, I have like a DJI, I'm going to grab it, mic thing. This thing, it's like a portable lav mic. It's like $200 maybe. Totally worth it. It plugs into mostly any iPhone, and it records really clear audio. This is something I would recommend. You guys have probably seen it. I've only used it in like the last couple of videos because I just got it. I had other mics in the past, but they just don't last as long. Figures, because they didn't cost as much. So they only pretty much lasted me like a year. So I guess for the money, I guess it was kind of useful. But you don't have to spend a ton of money. This I would say is like probably mid-grade, but stuff like that will help you to be able to get clear audio. Plan a launch date. When you plan this launch date, make sure that you do some sort of countdown. So, get that original video, the first video that you're going to post, or the first 2 videos that you're going to post, and break them up into smaller clips. There's so many online AI tools now that you can use to do this. Now, if you're very anti-AI and you want to do all of this yourself, it's possible, but it is going to be very time consuming. There are tons of apps that you can use to be able to help you be able to create not only clips, but clips that could be viral, the most viral. So I would say to use them because it's very efficient time-wise and so very helpful. So do that. I think even using, so for example, I use StreamYard sometimes when I'm doing these solo episodes or when I'm doing episodes with people from other places. And I think StreamYard now will even make it into clips for you. And before, they never did that before. So now there's more available for less money. A lot of these apps are free. You don't necessarily have to pay. Sometimes you do have to pay if you're going to use it to do other things. Keep that in mind. When you are beginning your podcast, try not to spend that much money doing your podcast. Try to use things you already have. Use the computer you already have. Use the phone you already have. Use the iPad or whatever you already have, because all it really takes is you to record yourself and have decent audio. So if you could do that with the very bare minimum equipment, it's almost better to get started that way until you start making money, and then you can maybe put money into your podcast. Learn basic editing. You don't have to be a pro at editing. You could definitely, there are a lot of times I outsource some of my editing, like I'll hire my brother to edit certain things. Obviously, when I had somebody doing the whole podcast, they edited everything for me. That was really nice, but yeah, it's easier to just do it myself now. Create content from every episode. So whether it be shorts, reels, TikToks, quotes, clips, you want all of that. Every long episode, you want it to be and be used for other content. And there are apps that you can use that can help you utilize this content and post it. I think StreamYard will actually upload straight from StreamYard onto a lot of your social media. So you can hook up your Instagram, you can hook up your Facebook, you can hook up your TikTok, and it'll automatically upload, or your YouTube. And the same with like Opus Clip, I believe will do that, and some other apps will also do that. Okay, my last step, be prepared for slow growth. Creating, like, it took me basically, what, almost, it took me about 2 years to get monetized. So it doesn't necessarily happen right away. It could happen right away. It totally could, depending on who you have on and stuff like that for your podcast or who you interview. It's totally possible, but just be prepared for slow growth, and being able to keep track of kind of what your numbers look like month after month, 6 months after 6 months, year after year will help you to see if you're growing at a pretty decent rate. That's the basic thing. If you are waiting until everything is perfect before starting a podcast, you will never start. Your first episode will be awkward. Your first 20 episodes might be awkward. That's normal. The key is starting, learning how to do it as you go, and improving as you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. This is a short little episode to give you guys a little bit of hints on how to start a podcast. If you have a podcast or you're thinking about starting one, drop a comment below. What's the topic you'd create a podcast about? Let me know. And if you did recently create a podcast, I would love to shout it out in the next video. So leave it below. And yeah, let me know if this inspired you to create a podcast. I hope a lot more people do, as it's really fun. And I think too, if you are nervous about starting a podcast, maybe try to do it with a friend that is pretty reliable. Maybe you guys like having conversations and things like that. Shout out to my friends from the Smoking Section podcast. What I love about their podcast is that they get together every Tuesday and they talk about a wide variety of topics. So if you don't want to stick to such a specific niche, you can always do something like that that's a little more general, and you guys can just talk about whatever's going on in the world. That might not be a bad idea. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching Lucy's Paradise Podcast. Aloha. See you guys next time.